Man 32, fiancé cheating, female 31. Succinct. Here, let me begin at the beginning. My fiancée, Lana, and I had our 4-month-out meeting to finalize things yesterday at our wedding venue. She was leaving straight from work, so we took separate cars to the location. She informed me at the end of the meeting that her buddy needed a transport home after dropping off her rental car and asked if it would be all right. Since I knew her friend well and it wasn't too far from our house, I said yes without giving it much thought. I spent the next 3 hours trying to contact her after I got home. Not a response. I texted her buddy at about 1:30 to see whether Lana had made it to her all right. I was somewhat concerned. Sorry, it took longer than expected. I hung out with my friend for a bit before leaving. Lana eventually says when she gets home, "All right, no big deal, just let me know the next time, please." I questioned Lana why her friend would say such a thing, and she claimed she didn't know and that she couldn't control what her friend says. A few minutes later, her friend responded to me and said, "Sorry, I couldn't make it to the venue. I didn't see Lana tonight." After that, Lana left the room. I'm already outlined as an F. I looked at her phone records, something I have never done before. Indeed, I did, and I have no regrets. I observed that she immediately contacted her friend after I confronted her with the message from her friend when she stepped outside. On the drive to the event, I noticed an hour-long call with a number I didn't recognize as she went outside. I then questioned her about their rental experience and a number of other things. Her responses were concise and appeared genuine. Perhaps I'm crazy, I reasoned, and I should go relax and get some sleep. I apologized for questioning her the night before and asked her to kindly show me the text message from her buddy asking her to pick her up this morning. "No," she replied. That's when I knew for sure she was lying. I remarked, "When I caught up to you yesterday on the way to the venue, I saw you were on the phone. Who was that?" She replied, "Oh, that's the friend that asked me to pick her up." I responded, "I looked at her phone records and knew that wasn't true." She then amended her tale to say, "Oh, I needed to meet up with a coworker to discuss a patient." "Who is the coworker? And why couldn't you discuss that over the phone?" She responded, "I needed to show him the techniques in person. His name is Michael." All right, I look so sketched out now. We never lie to each other anymore, right? I requested to examine Michael's texts. "I wouldn't be able to see them," she added. She pauses and starts telling me everything that is wrong with me. I responded, "Why not if there's nothing to hide? Are you having an affair? Do you not want to be together anymore?" I put in too much work. I don't listen to her and I don't spend enough time with her. At this point, I'm shocked since I've never heard of any of this. Nevertheless, after doing some math, I realized that something dubious was happening. I request to see the texts one more. It required almost 30 minutes of persuasion to view these texts, and they were absurd. They were talking about me in a sexual way, acting as though they were basically in love, and she wanted to be with him. She has been working here for the past 1.5 months. He works alongside her. He is also between 15 and 20 years older, divorced, and has several children. For the past few months, as she got back on her feet and worked extra to avoid having to take a part-time job, I have been providing for her financial needs. Together with our 3 dogs and horse, we both reside in a house that we own. I apologize about the novel. Right now, I'm besides myself. As we were set to tie the knot in 4 months, I did not anticipate this. Any guidance would be beneficial. It's obvious, OP, that the first thing I wouldn't do is be married to this person. She's a coward as well as a cheater, which makes her awful. She literally took a page out of the cheater's handbook when she said, "You blame your partner for your cheating. Okay, so the romance is gone and the wedding is off, OP. She needs to get out of your life, but because you guys have a house, a horse, and 3 dogs, that's sadly just the easy part in your situation. The only bright side of this is that you two are single, but you really must sell the house, or else she will have to pay for your share. Perhaps her partner in the affair can assist her with that, or you buy her half and she moves out, or you two just sell the house and divide the proceeds fairly, which doesn't mean equally. The person with the largest contribution wins. You two are pretty well linked. I'm not sure how long you've been dating, but if you were getting married soon, I would guess it was a few years. Thus, ensure that the financial matter is appropriately sorted. What are Your thoughts on the entire scenario, guys? In the position of the OP, how would you respond? Please let me know in the comments section. Next, let's check out what the community has to say beneath the comments section. Bake Time 1089 concurs. Standard cheater victim blaming. Don't let her pin this on you, OP. You deserve better. Cancel all vendors. Notify invited guests. Lock down your credit or shared finances. Are you sure her affair partner is divorced? He may be lying to your soon-to-be ex, or she may be lying to you. Either way, it sounds like she cheated down and screwed up royally. Sucks, but it's better to know now than 10 years down the road. I'm sorry you got blindsided like this, and I hope it gets better soon. And the OP says, I really appreciate you taking the time to reply and for the advice. I have no idea if he is truly divorced and honestly don't want to know more about the guy. The saddest thing about this is my dogs love each other and will most likely be broken apart. Agree. Better to know now. According to Any Structure 1309, damn. Totally sucks, bro. Condolences on the death of that relationship. But in hindsight, you finding out about this work office affair was a blessing. You dodged a bullet. Imagine if this happened after the wedding. Cut your losses and never speak to her again, even when the affair partner tires of her, which he most likely will, and she tries to get back to you. Don't be her fallback guy. Move forward with your life. Don't be the dummy that takes her back and you're back on Reddit talking about, I reconciled. Then she cheated again. Be better. Good luck. Mama says, is she on the lease or mortgage? If not, give her 30 days and she's gotta go. If you're not on the lease or mortgage, then you've got 30 days to go, and I do it much faster depending on receipts. When it comes to the dogs, I take them and have her opinion on it. Don't be remorseful. She didn't care how you would feel about all of this. She was gonna marry you and live a life full of lies with you. She doesn't care, so don't give her any type of pity, my guy. In the end, being an ass will help you build the confidence to move the F on. To which Opie responds, mortgage. We co-own, unfortunately. A little more complicated. I simply needed to put it in writing to let out a little steam. I'm still in shock that this is true. It's unfortunate, but this cannot be undone. I would always be glancing over my shoulder. Her soul. Regret is being discovered. Excellent liar, if I may add. Of course, I'm sure I'll be all right. Just a hiccup in the way, I'm sure. All I can hope for is that my poor dogs stay together. They have not committed any wrongdoing. Like everyone else, I think this is a blessing in disguise. It must just feel awful right now. With time, things will improve. To be perfectly honest with all of you, I just don't trust anything that she says anymore. I believe it would have been obvious that she was biding her time. Possibly until she was more financially secure and certain she wanted to be with this person in the long run. If you had all seen the texts she sent me complaining about how awful I am and how she doesn't want to be with me anymore. I will not be someone's fallback option. OB brief update. I finally had a chance to talk with her about this again tonight when we sat down. When she first came in, she tried to put the responsibility on me, claiming that my failure to communicate and listen to her was the reason behind her lying and cheating. She said that if I had been paying closer attention, she wouldn't have felt the need to approach this guy, and that I didn't spend enough time with her because I work long hours at the office. I made an effort to clarify that I was working overtime in an effort to help her and the family out financially so she wouldn't have to take a part-time job. I don't understand why she would have preferred to have a part-time job. She thought we could move over this since their relationship was brief. 1 week, she claimed, and they had only slept together once. She reacted angrily when I brought up the texts in which she was disparaging me and having sex with him, and I was unable to get her to stop. I informed her that I am not the cause of this. She went too far and ought to have talked to me or considered the ramifications before. I would never be able to trust her again, and this is all her fault. It is up to her whether she wants to attempt to make this seem like my fault. This section ended with a slight calmness. We decided that either I stay and buy her out, or we sell and move somewhere else. I replied, listen, we just really need to figure out the house we own jointly and the 3 dogs. One of us will get a dog. The other 2 will be specified. That concludes our conversation for tonight. I'll keep you all updated on our progress. Wondering what steps you would all take to address the house. Although we bought The approximately 3,000 square feet and 5 acres of property specifically so that we could keep a horse, I am able to support it financially on my own. When she leaves, she is taking the horse and boarding it at a stable. Alright, so everyone in the community is in agreement that Op needs to end that relationship, but she keeps saying they were just hooking up. Naturally, I also don't think that. And by showing her the text messages, Op did the right thing. I mean, if someone knew how you felt about them, do you think they would want to live out the rest of their days with you? Naturally, the answer is no. You would be a foolish person, most likely experiencing an outburst or something like. In addition, Op asks us, how would we handle the house? Sell it anyway. It's time to let go and move on. With the first of Opie's 2 updates for this story, you are aware of this, of course. After watching this video, I'd like you to listen to another playlist of mine. Let's continue with the update now. Tonight, I managed to sit down and speak with her for 3 hours. We discussed our connection and the events that preceded them. She began by pointing out the mistakes I had made in our relationship, such as not communicating well and utilizing my phone and computer excessively. None of these things bother me in the slightest. My motivation for working so hard was to provide for the family. I work as a one-man customer care center and manage an e-commerce company on the side. I'm always on the clock, so deals happen around the clock. I could have done a better job of putting my phone down and answering individuals the following day. I was not aware that she was not satisfied with any of this, which is a good illustration of the lack of communication on both ends. I was never informed of it. She never offered me the chance to work on it, but she claimed she believed that if she had told me, I would have become unhappy. I'm not flawless by any means, and she frequently interprets things I do or say as being nasty. As an illustration, a week ago I was attempting to assist her in creating a budget in order to help her with her financial issues and to help her come up with a strategy to get back on track. I should mention that I regularly perform this for clients because I work in the financial sector. She had said that she would receive her debt, possibly in the range of $1,000, when I got paid next time. It turned out to be more than $5,000 after I stated something along the lines of, I think it's a little bit more than that. Let's go through the transfers I have made to our joint account. My intention was not to hurt her feelings, but rather to let her know how much I have been accomplishing. She saw this as my attempt to make her look bad. Perhaps my timing wasn't right, but I was only trying to be helpful. I was just trying to make sure we would be okay. But she said I've been too focused on money recently. We still had a significant portion of the wedding to pay for, so I was constantly worrying about our finances and trying to make sure we had enough. It genuinely annoys me that she constantly attempting to use my shortcomings as a justification for what she did. She keeps saying that she finds it surprising that I would discard 7 years of a relationship in this manner. It's something I have to constantly tell her that she threw it away. Not me. I told too many people too soon, she said, and we might have worked this out between us. She said that if I had been a better communicator and listener, she wouldn't have needed to speak with someone else. I think I've finally figured out how big of an affair this was, judging from the texts I've read. They started texting each other 1 to 2 weeks ago. Whether or not they had previously gotten together outside of work, he had asked her to park the car so they could play basketball and chat. They ended up making out after she met them. Although, in my opinion, it hasn't progressed further than this point yet, it most certainly will have done so soon. He is not her boyfriend, she claims. She left tonight as well, and I'm not sure where she is. I'm thinking she's with him or a girlfriend. Although it's an uncomfortable living condition, I'm hoping that things will get better soon. She may want me to try to mend that by getting back together with her. I believe that a long-standing lack of communication was the primary problem. We settled into a rut and led dull, straightforward lives. This issue went unaddressed and grew worse over time. She lied to my face, spewed a ton of garbage about me behind my back, and acted out rather than communicate with me. I doubt I will be able to trust her completely again because of how cunning she can be. I doubt I would ever be completely pleased doing this, even though it would be the easiest thing to do. Knowing the underlying reason has made me feel better. If nothing else, it will help me see things differently and address my communication problems and personality defects. I've been going to the gym since today, and I plan to stick with it. I also intend to resume my studies in order to earn my CFP designation. I used the week off from work to prioritize my emotional well-being as well. I formally canceled the date by calling the wedding location today. If the date cannot be resold to another couple, we lost a little money even though we were able to receive some back. Not likely. I also had a follow-up conversation with her parents. They must be quite anxious because they reside so far away. I keep telling them that their daughter is safe and that they don't need to worry about anything. I looked around, and given the current state of interest rates, I won't be able to find a comparable home for the amount of the mortgage I pay. I can hardly find an apartment these days for less than this. My best course of action, in my opinion, is to try to buy out her stake and help her find housing. To determine worth, determine what half of the equity would be, and determine whether it is feasible for me. An appraiser will be sent out. I want to know if this makes you think differently about the situation in any way. Am I doing this correctly? If not, what actions should I do to improve? Well, no, this doesn't alter my opinion in the slightest about the circumstances. She still stinks and she still cheated. Well done for calling it quits. Now, if I were in your position with regard to the house, I wouldn't give her half the equity if that was possible. If I had to take the effort to figure out precisely how much money each of you put into that property, I wouldn't mind. The money is then returned to each of you, together with any remaining proceeds from the sale, which may be divided in half. In any case, let's see how this tale concludes in the last update. I owe you all an update because it has been over a month since the beginning of this whole mess. This month has been incredibly hectic, intense, and eventful. I won't lie. In the days that followed this incident, I was a pitiful mess who was pleading for this cheating piece of garbage to be returned. Although acknowledging it is awkward, it did occur and was all a part of the process of moving on. I did everything I could to make things better and do the right thing while I was in this vulnerable state, but nothing helped. In fact, I was informed that she had to choose between him and me, and in picking him, she made the proper decision. That's when, I believe, I finally woke up and that I had allowed my sense of value to erode and that I needed to take stock of my life and prioritize my needs. After 7 years of giving your all to someone else, it can be difficult to put your own needs first, but that is precisely what I have been doing ever since. I transferred our shared savings to my own checking account. I calculated how much was owing to me and gave her half of the total back in the joint account. Yes, I know I said as much, but since this incident, I have been working out daily for the house. Not only does it make me feel better about how I look, but it also keeps my mind clean. In addition, I've gone shopping for a massage suit and outings with loved ones. This relationship should have raised serious concerns because it was not only isolating me from my friends and family, but I also never took care of myself. Just said I wouldn't shop for clothing. My constant concern was how I would support her and our pets. Additionally, I've started seeing to a therapist once a week for the first time in my life. I use it to consider many options when making decisions. I'm sure I'll keep doing it after this gets resolved since I want to keep getting better. For the larger stuff, I still reside in the house with my former partner. We have reached a stage where the only communication we get is when you feed the dogs, and she is currently sleeping in the guest bedroom. I believe she is a horrible person, and regardless of what I say, she believes that I am to blame for this. Someone is being a hypocrite and an easy out in her delusional mind when they criticize someone of having poor communication skills and then use that as an excuse to not express her thoughts to me and cheat. It is irrational, so I gave up attempting to reason with her. I have been persistent in my efforts to list the house for sale. After contacting and scheduling an agent's visit, I was pleased with the suggested sale price. Then, she asks me to speak with 2 more agents, one of whom her buddy suggested, to obtain their perspectives. Yes, I scheduled all of the meetings, made all of the calls, and spoke with these individuals. It's not fair, but this is how the relationship has always been, and I've been ready to put up with it in order to get the heck out of here. We ultimately chose to work with the first agency after meeting with all 3. After Sunday's photos were shot, the house was put up for sale that evening. Open house this coming Saturday. The real estate websites are already buzzing with excitement. She's going to take the horse to, well, a barn somewhere. I spoke with you about the dogs and said I could take 1 or none. To keep them together, she declared she would take all 3 of them. They seem like a pleasant group, and I don't want to split them up by getting into a battle over who gets to take one. In addition, it lets me explore a fresh start for myself. I met someone a week ago by surprise, and since then, I've been hanging out with them a lot. Although I'm not expecting anything from her, I'm having fun hanging out with her. She has been supporting me through this as she has had a similar circumstance in the past. It's rather illuminating to talk to such a gentle, considerate, and self-reliant woman. It reveals to me what a narcissist my former partner was. Totally egocentric, reliant, and manipulative. It was long overdue for me to pay attention to the advice of friends and relatives. I undoubtedly let myself be sucked into a boring routine. It was an easy situation to be in. Nice house with lots of acreage and beautiful animals, but I wasn't enjoying life. I just carried on since I didn't want to upset anyone. It's not until you stand back and give it some serious thought that you actually realize this. Although some may argue that it was a waste of time, I truly see this as a teaching opportunity. In the future, I shall not disregard warning signs. I refuse to be seduced by simplicity. I'll keep up my relationships with family and friends. I just wanted to send out a big thank you to everyone who left a remark on my initial Reddit post, which I posted since I was at a loss for what to do. It's incredible that those of you who tried to assist a total stranger on Reddit took the effort to do so. I have perused each and every remark, and they have all contributed to my current situation. Wherever it leads, I am excited for the next phase of my life. P.S. After a week, the house turned out to be worth almost $100,000 more than anticipated. Accepted a higher-than-asking offer today. Not favorable to buyers. Until I make up my mind about where I want to live, will rent a condo or lease an apartment. Sincerely, thank you to all of you. Yes, I will be. A gold is a joyful upgrade. Well done for getting rid of the dead weight. Again, excellent for you. You met someone who seems like a really nice person. It's amazing that you received an additional $100,000 from the sale of the house. The best thing, though, in my opinion, is that you've applied all you've learned. No more warning signs, no more being cut off from friends and family, and none of that nonsense. I'm wishing you all the best in the future, Opie. Opie, I appreciate you sharing so much. Take care. That concludes the video for today. I really appreciate it.